Welcome back to the deep dive. There's that fundamental idea we talk about a lot. Do what you say you will do. DWYSYWD.
Foundational.
Right. It's simple, really, but it's the absolute bedrock of trust in leadership, in teams, even just for ourselves.
Absolutely. Credibility hinges on it.
But here's the thing, especially for really high performers. Life happens.
Right.
New data comes in, obstacles pop up you didn't expect, priorities shift.
Things change.
Constantly.
Exactly. So what do you do when sticking to that original promise, that original plan, actually isn't the smartest move anymore?
Yeah.
When the strategic play is, well, different.
That's the core challenge, isn't it? And it's precisely where Coach Ed Padalecki's concept comes in. He calls it a performance psychology principle, mental flexibility.
Mental flexibility, okay.
Yeah, and Coach B is really clear. This isn't about flaking on commitments whenever it's convenient. Not at all.
It's not an excuse.
No, it's about the ability to adapt, to pivot without losing your alignment with your core values or your big picture goals. So like elite athletes or top CEOs, they don't just rigidly stick to the game plan if the situation changes on the field or in the market.
Exactly right. They don't blindly cling to it. They adjust, often very quickly. But, and this is critical, they communicate with precision.
Okay, so if we're facing that kind of situation, we know a change is needed, but we absolutely have to maintain that trust. What does Coach Padalecki suggest? How do we even start thinking about shifting gears?
Well, Coach P actually has a very practical 3-part protocol for this. It's really actionable.
Oh, great. What's the first step?
First, you audit the commitment. Step back and ask yourself honestly, okay, based on everything I know now, the current situation, my values, the outcomes I'm aiming for, is this still the right move?
So it's a conscious check-in.
Precisely. The key is not to break commitments lightly, just 'cause. But it's equally important not to blindly honor something that's, well, outdated or no longer serves the ultimate goal.
That makes sense. Avoiding both extremes. Okay, so after you've audited it, and let's say you decide a change is needed, what's next?
Step 2 is clarify the new standard. If you are changing course, you have to define, really nail down with precision what the new plan is, what are you doing instead, and, very importantly, why.
So you're not just dropping the ball, you're explicitly picking up a different one and explaining the reason.
Exactly. You're setting a new, clear direction, no ambiguity.
Okay, audit, clarify. And the third part must be about the communication piece, bringing others along.
You got it. The third step is communicate with ownership. This is huge. It means you don't wait for people to notice or ask. You proactively go to the stakeholders, the people affected.
You reach out first.
Yes. You renegotiate the original commitment.
Yeah.
You clearly state what's changed, why it changed, and what the new commitment is. And Coach P has this fantastic insight here. He says integrity isn't just about keeping your word. It's also about communicating proactively when your word needs to change.
Wow, that reframes it completely. It's not about failure to keep the word, it's about the integrity in the change.
That's it. That proactive communication. That's what builds massive trust, even when plans shift. Silence erodes it. Proactive ownership builds it.
I can really see that. Could you maybe walk us through an example, like how this looks in practice?
Sure. Coach Padalecki gives a really good, relatable one. Imagine you promised your team you'd launch a new internal initiative by, say, this Friday. Solid commitment.
Okay, standard situation.
Right. But then, a really high-stakes client pitch lands on your desk, also due this week. And you realize, after auditing, that trying to push out that internal launch and nail the client pitch, it's going to compromise the quality of one or probably both.
Stretching too thin. You can't give 100% to both.
Exactly. So you don't just go dark on the internal launch. You don't pretend the deadline wasn't there or make weak excuses later.
Right. You use this moment, this pivot, to actually build trust, not break it.
Precisely. And Coach Padalecki even gives sample language. You'd go to your team and say something like,
okay, what would that sound like?
Okay, team. After reassessing priorities this week, I realize pushing forward on the internal launch right now will dilute the quality we need for both that and this critical client pitch. So I'm making the call to move the launch to next Wednesday.
Clear adjustment.
This shift allows us the bandwidth to hit both goals with excellence. I appreciate your flexibility here. I'm fully committed to making sure both these initiatives are major wins.
See, that feels strong. It's leadership. It shows you're thinking strategically, valuing quality, and still honoring the commitment just on a revised timeline.
That's exactly it. It demonstrates leadership. It actively builds trust. And it shows that mental agility Coach P talks about. And he also suggests this isn't just for big, dramatic shifts.
Oh.
He frames it as part of a 1% better daily inventory, like a quick daily check. What commitments am I honoring today? Are there any even small ones that need this audit, that might need renegotiation?
So it becomes a habit, building that mental flexibility muscle every day.
It's about consistently owning your game, as he'd say.
It really highlights that tension Coach Padalecki points out. He said, commitment without flexibility can break you. Flexibility without commitment can erode trust. You truly need both.
Absolutely. It's a dynamic balance.
So mastering that balance is key.
Definitely. So maybe, for everyone listening, the question to reflect on is this. Where specifically in your work, or maybe even your personal life right now, could embracing this kind of mental flexibility unlock a higher level of trust or performance?
Find that one area.
And then ask, what's the smallest, most proactive step you could take today to start auditing, clarifying, or communicating with that kind of ownership? How can you own your game with both integrity and agility starting now? Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We hope this gives you some food for thought as you continue on your journey.